Well, Happy New Year's, everyone. It is not too late to make that perfect Southern Appalachian New Year's meal. Let's get to cooking our dinner. First, we are going to start with the black-eyed peas and hog jowl, of course. Get your black-eyed peas out. Here I have opted to use the fresh black-eyed peas, but you can definitely use canned or frozen. But for these, since they're fresh, you want to pour them into a strainer and rinse them off, making sure just to get any of the dirt or contaminants off of them that may have gotten on them during their packaging and shipment. Once all of the peas have been rinsed, we are going to fill the pot with just enough water to cover over the peas, and then we're going to place them on the stove. I do add a little bit of salt to my black-eyed peas just to give them some flavor. Add about a tablespoon. You can add a little more or a little less depending on your flavor preference. I also like to add 1 slice of the hog jowl, and this just adds another layer of flavor to the black-eyed peas themselves. Now, of course, you don't have to add this if you do not want to, do not have this ingredient, or if you are vegetarian. Next, we want to get our fresh collard greens out of the freezer that we bought from the store already, tore away from the inner stem, rinsed, and tore into edible sized pieces. Now, this amount here is roughly about 1 to 2 bunches of the fresh collard greens. And to that, you want to add 1 carton of chicken broth. Now, since we are adding this 1 carton of chicken broth, this is going to give the collard greens flavor and seasoning. So you do not need to add any salt to the greens. Once the chicken broth is poured in, I fill the remainder of the area in the pot with water, just enough till the collards are floating and they're all covered really, really well. To this, I also like to add a teaspoon of red pepper flakes, just for a little bit of a spice flavor and a kick, in addition to some cayenne pepper powder. And once again, you do not have to add this. I just prefer the spicy flavor to my collard greens. Now, these will have to cook on medium-high heat for about an hour until they are tender. Now for our peas, as you can see, they're cooking away, and they also have to cook until they are tender. You can check the tenderness with a fork to tell when they are done. For the hog jowl now, I'm using a large cast iron skillet, which I've placed on the stove on medium-high heat to allow it to get hot. Once your pan is nice and hot, you want to go ahead and add in several slices of the hog jowl, just enough to cover the bottom of the pan. These will shrink in size as they cook, but you don't want to overcrowd the pan starting out. As you can see, the color of the collard greens are starting to change as they're getting more tender. Our hog jowl is cooking away. As you can see, it is already starting to change colors, and it has already shrunk in our pan. Now, you do want to flip this several times as it cooks to get an even cook on both sides. Get that nice crispy crunchy exterior. And ultimately, what you're looking for with these is for the entire piece of meat to be cooked all the way through and crunchy. But while we're waiting for all that, we can make a no-bake cherry cheesecake, our household favorite. All you need is a can of sweetened condensed milk, some lemon juice, a packet of cream cheese, and a graham cracker pie crust, and a can of cherries. So to start with this, you simply want to put your block of cream cheese into a pot with 1 can of sweetened condensed milk. This is how it is essentially a no-bake cheesecake. The sweetened condensed milk is thick enough when combined with that cream cheese. It makes for the perfect creamy cheesecake base. And all you want to do here is combine the two in a pot, blend them until the cream cheese and milk mixture are smooth. Once your mixture is smooth like this here, you then want to go ahead and add in 1/4 cup of lemon juice. Make sure that you add it slowly and incorporate it before adding the remaining mixture in, or it will splash. While doing this, we cannot forget about our hog jowl, which is cooking away. As you can see here, some of the pieces are already ready to be removed from the pan. Once we remove some, we want to make sure that we put some more back in and continue the cooking process so that we have all of our hog jowl ready to go with the remainder of our New Year's dinner. It is the perfect complement to the meal. Now back to our cheesecake. With our base complete, we want to go ahead and pour it into our graham cracker crust. Smooth it out, and it is ready to chill for at least 3 to 4 hours. As you can see here, this piece of hog jowl is ready. You can see it is perfectly crispy and thoroughly cooked all the way through. You want that dark brownish color with that crunchy exterior present. Now it is time for our crackling cornbread. This is a must to any Southern Appalachian New Year's meal. To start, we crack 1 egg into our bowl. To that egg, we're going to add our cornmeal. Now here, we don't really measure out our cornmeal. It is almost an eyeball recipe, especially for crackling cornbread. It is a consistency thing. So here, just add some buttermilk, a teeny splash of oil, just to give our cornbread a little bit of greasy texture. Then combined until well mixed. Once it is mixed well, we're going to add our pork cracklings. Now when you add pork cracklings, they essentially have their own grease in them still because the grease has not been rendered out. That is why it is a consistency thing. You want your cornmeal mixture to be this loose here. So taking the cracklings, we're going to combine them and mix them in really, really well. And the Lord's cracklings, in our opinion, are the best because they provide the best flavor, they cook well, and they don't leave you with soggy cracklings in your cornbread. They don't break up, they hold their shape well, and provide you basically with the best crackling cornbread you can have for any meal. And you want your mixture just enough to where it holds around every crackling. Not too dry and not too loose. Now we want to pour that mixture into our piping hot cast iron skillets, which have been placed into the oven just long enough to get them hot and sizzling. So when that cornmeal mixture hits them, it will create that perfect crunchy exterior that we are looking for in a cornbread. Now I am using Three Rivers cornmeal, and it is a hot rise cornmeal. So when you let it sit on your stove, the cornmeal will essentially rise, giving it a better texture all around. As you can see here, everything is still cooking, and we're getting closer to that meal. Our cornbread is in the oven. Our peas are done. Our hog jowls are almost to the end of cooking. We're on our final pieces. This stuff goes really fast in the household. Our cornbreads are almost ready. The peas are finally cooked. The hog jowls all cooked, ready to serve. Our collard greens and that beautiful pot likker are piping hot, just waiting to be served up for the perfect New Year's plate. And definitely do not throw out the juice here. The pot likker is the best. This is what you're looking for a hog jowl cook that is perfect. And you will know when your black-eyed peas are done when they are fork tender. Now our cornbread is ready to take out. You can see those beautiful cracklings throughout the bread already. We're going to invert these and look at that beautiful crust. That is what happens when you put your skillets in the stove, preheat them, then add in your cornmeal. Now for our second pan of crackling cornbread. This is the larger crackling bread, and look at it. You can tell where the cracklings are in the bread. That is the bite that everybody wants. A perfect crunchy piece of crackling cornbread and a slice that has cracklings in every single bite. And you will see why. As you can see, the cracklings are still present. They did not disintegrate. And that makes for the perfect Southern Appalachian New Year's meal. This complements fresh out of the garden cream corn here, which we have placed into our freezer, placed in the microwave to defrost, and it is ready to serve up. So now we are ready to plate. Getting out those beautiful collard greens, which have cooked for about an hour. Cook them for about an hour, and if they're not tender enough for you, cook them for about 20 more minutes and check them again. But to that, we will add one slice of hog jowl, a beautiful slice of crackling cornbread, add our peas. You can also put these in a bowl if you want some of the juice to dip your cornbread in. I prefer to have a bowl on the side with the collard green pot likker juice. And I will either drink this straight, or I will dip my cornbread into it and eat it just like that. Either way, this stuff here is golden, in my opinion. And you have to at least try it once. It is infused with that collard green flavor. And here you have a traditional Appalachian New Year's dinner. Hope you enjoy. No matter how you choose to prepare your plate, this right here is the making of a true Southern Appalachian New Year's dinner. Just make sure when you eat the hog jowl, you do not eat the top. You want to eat all this below the skin. You can either do like I do and break it with your fingers, or you can bite it off, but just make sure that you're eating the soft part away from the outer edge because it is tough and is not pleasant to eat. And don't forget to at least try you a small cup of the pot liquor from the collard greens. Fresh collard greens, if you can, are a must, but you can always do canned. Canned black-eyed peas or dried will work, but these are fresh, and as you can see, are beautiful. There is our delicious hog jowl, our crackling cornbread, which is crispy and simply provides the perfect bite every time. I hope that you will try to make some of these dishes for your New Year's dinner and that it has inspired your final plating. Happy New Year.